Hi guys, my name is Danielle Starr, previously Van Gerpen because somebody put a rock on it. Heyo. Anyway, I am currently a Master Designer 2 at the Ulta store in Denver, Colorado, which is store 70. This is my fifth year with Ulta. I started as obviously a D1. I mastered 2 in 3 years. I then was also hired on as an AE, which means I'm also color and design certified. And recently, as I'm extremely passionate about education, I just took an advanced updo lab from Charlie Price. I'm also headed to New York in 2 weeks to take a class from Chris Sorby and Sean Goddard at the Redken Exchange, as education is the most important thing to me currently within our industry. I really feel that this position on the design team would elevate my career to the next level and really get me more involved with advanced technical techniques within our industry, as well as all the latest trends. And my ultimate goal within this industry is to eventually be part of an artistic collective that basically caters to any state or any event with a collective of stylists that would have the best advanced technical education so that they could really be hired on within any state to do any event or any trend or any education class available within that state. We're going to get right into it. My technique today is going to be a highlighting and balayage together. So one of the reasons that I really like to do this technique is because it really gives you the appearance of a natural all-over blonde without having to super pack those foils in. This is my awesome client, Taylor. She is very low maintenance when it comes to her hair, so she likes to wait months before coming back in. As you can see, her new growth. She did come in for a haircut in August, so at least her hair's a little bit healthier, but she really likes to maintain that platinum blonde, which we realize is more of a high maintenance hair color. The thing with Taylor is she also likes to change her mind about the fashion colors that she puts in her hair. So what we decided with our beauty plan is that we would get her as blonde as possible. That way she can use whatever color depositing conditioners at home that she wants to use and switch up her color as often as her mood, right? So obviously, this can be customized based on your desired outcome per client. As I said, Taylor and I have consulted, and she wants to be as blonde as possible. So I really like this technique because it's less visits to maintain, and it grows out into an ombre. So as you can see, it's grown out. She really could have waited longer. She's just at the point where she wants everything brought back up, and she wants to be really, really blonde again. This also helps you work smarter and not harder. Like I said, you don't have to pack the foils in. You're alternating your sections between balayage and highlighting to alleviate having to take tiny, tiny weaves. It's going to break up any harsh lines of your demarcation as well. You can see she's got some nice grow out. When she curls it, it just looks like a natural ombre. Let's talk a little bit about sectioning. You can see she's already quad sectioned. The reason I like the quad section with balayaging is because the hair's already a natural fall, so it's going to sit exactly where it's going to lay on the head, so it's going to help you alleviate making any mistakes within your balayage. I do diagonal back subsections, and I also am going to alternate, as I said, between a foil and a balayage. So in her first section, we're going to start with a micro weave, which is basically going to be a 1/4 inch subsection right off of her hairline, and we're going to do the smallest weave. I always weave the hairline so that when they pull their hair back, they have that natural appearance of lightness and there aren't any gaps in their color. So after we do the micro weave, we're going to go right into doing a balayage section. So I'm going to take a 1/2 inch subsection, weave off my micro weave and clip it up and focus on my balayage section first. It technically would be like a slice, skip, slice. Also, don't forget in your balayage section, you're going to back comb a tiny bit. That's going to be your safety in case you don't get your lightener blended correctly. It alleviates any harsh lines. I balayage with deep V's and I fully saturate the ends because we want max brightness on Taylor. Always check your underneath section for balayage so that you don't end up with any lines on the underneath, because a lot of times you'll see those later. If you've ever looked at a picture off of Pinterest and there's a balayage that's not quite right, it's probably because they weren't checking their underneath section, so when the hair moves, you can see spots in the hair. All right, guys, so I'm going to start demoing this technique for you. So we're going to start right on the hairline. I'm taking a 1/4 inch diagonal back subsection. And I'm going to weave right off of the section rather than taking a subsection of this, because this is also going to save you time. So there's my first little baby weave. I'm going to use my second clip that up. So as we talked about, balayaging our first section, I'm just going to back comb a tiny bit at her hairline so that I'm going to save myself in case I accidentally don't get anything blended correctly. So I'm gonna use my balayage formula first. Do a little V action. And then I wanna slowly saturate my ends. Blend up my lightener, check my underneath. Good to go. Then I'm gonna pull down my little baby weave that I made, take my foil, and that would be my first section. I have two different formulas of blonde icing, blonde idle blonde icing going on here. So inside my foil, I started with blonde icing with a 1:2 ratio with 20 volume and 8 milliliters of pH bonder. My balayage formula is also blonde idle blonde icing with 30 volume in a 1:1 ratio with 4 milliliters of pH bonder. Now the reason that I did a different ratio of pH bonder is because I like my foil lightener to be a little looser, kind of like a powder lightener, whereas my balayage obviously went a little thicker, so you get that nice smooth blend. As you guys can see, I'm already halfway up my quad sectioning and I've only put in 2 foils. If I was doing a full head of foils to break up that really harsh line of demarcation that she has, I probably would have already had to put in like 7 foils. So this is where working smarter and not harder really comes into play. So as we talked about, I really like blonde icing in a foil as well as out. The reason that I like to use blonde icing so much is because of these feature benefits. The LumiSilk technology, which is also aided with deep conditioning formulas, preserves the full lipidic rate of the hair, resulting in max shine. I have never had clients so happy with the results of their highlighting or any lifting color service. It can also be mixed in a 1:1, 1:2, or 1:3 ratio with the dedicated developer that comes with it. There is no 10 volume. There's only 20, 30, and 40. It can lift up to 7 levels, and it processes for up to 50 minutes. It comes out in a creamy consistency. So I always use the tail of my comb to get it out, and you're gonna wanna put it on a scale and weigh it. So Taylor's processing right now. She's gonna process to platinum, which means the hair on the inside of that bleach should look like the inside of a banana. If it is like the outside of a banana, there is no amount of toning that is ever gonna make that hair platinum. I'm gonna rinse only and dry because I use pH bonder, so I can't shampoo until I'm ready for my step number 2. My go-to toner for a platinum blonde is 1 ounce of 09V with a 0.5 of 09P max dilution. Once I process her for 20 minutes, I'm gonna rinse all the toner out, towel dry her a little bit, and I'm gonna throw on my number 2 pH bonder for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna shampoo and condition as normal. I'm gonna take her back to my chair. She has an undercut, which alleviates me having to put 1 million foils and balayage in the back of her head, obviously. So I do a 1 guard on her undercut. I also use 25 Benefits as a cutting lotion. And I do long layers at a 90 degree with Taylor's hair. Because of that undercut, she's lacking some of her perimeter. So if I pull everything up at a 90 degree, everything that shouldn't hit that point falls out and I'm left with my perimeter. I also use a diagonal finger angle with volume towards the back so that I alleviate cutting out any holes in her perimeter. I also then use a boar round brush to blow her out. She tends to have a coarser texture and she's naturally curly, so it's easier for me to blow her out with a boar brush so that she's nice and smooth and I can go ahead and texturize out the ends of her layers so they fall really nice and soft. When I'm all done dry cutting, I'm gonna curl all of her hair with a 1 1/4 inch curling iron. And I'm gonna curl all the hair in the same direction. I do it with root tonging, which is where you're sucking the hair slowly into the curling iron, kind of like a Marcel. You can also do it with a normal curling iron though. And if you curl all the hair the same direction, when you go ahead and brush it all out, that's how you end up with that nice soft wave that everyone's using, Guy Tang, Pinterest. So I use Hot Sets 22 to set that style in before I curl, and then I use Triple Sec 32 after. Once I let all of it cool and do brush out, nice soft, so it has that really nice soft wave, and I'm gonna show you guys the final results as soon as we get it rinsed. All right, guys, so my model is all done. As you can see, I curled her. She's got that nice soft wave, and it's completely blended with your little tiny baby lights or microweave into your balayage. So that's gonna conclude my video for the artistic design team. Hope you guys enjoyed it.